Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our shir. How amazing is this? We're continuing our shir in the topic of Kanoim Pogim and Kim Lev Rabbi. So in the first shir, we saw Shitas HaRambam. The Rambam writes in Isurei Bia, Parakit Beis Halacha Vav, that if the Kanoim weren't Pogebo, somebody who's Baal Aramis, what's the din? The din is, and Basin didn't give him Malchus, the din is that he gets Kares, Alpi Divrei Kabbalah. And we explain that when the Rambam says Lo Kul Bezdin, it's mashma whether it's Derech Ishus, if Yisrael Baal Goyim Misharim was Derech Ishus, then he gets Malchus Min HaTorah. So that's what the Rambam means here when it says Lo Pogo B'Konaim V'Lo Hulkul. And also if he gets Baal Derech Znus, for which one gets Malchus Maridus D'Rabbanan, in both instances, we didn't give him the Malchus, then Ansha Mefurish B'Kabbalah, that he gets Kares. But what do you see from here? You see from the Rambam that he holds that Baal Aramis gets Malchus, even though there's a din of Kanoim Pogim Bo, and you would say this Kim Lev Rabbi Minei. Nevertheless, he still gets Malchus. So you see that the Rambam holds that there's no Kim Lev Rabbi Minei by Baal Aramis. We want to understand what's Pshat in the Rambam. So we suggested that the Rambam holds that it's not really an Onesh that's Mutal like Arkafta de Gavra. Rather, it's just a Rishus Lahargo. It's not a Chalois Chi of Hamutal ala Boel. Actually, not in the Torah Rishus, like Kanoim Lahargo. But him, Mitzad Atzmo, is not Begeder Mechuyev Misa Bidei Adam. That's what we wanted to say. We had one shir about that, then we discussed in the previous shir. First year we discussed the Machlokas Tin, the Rambam and Tosfos Lechora. In the previous year we discussed Tosfos, Api Havanas Rabbi Kiva Eger, and now we're going to try to understand the Rambam. The Rambam is Mefurish Lehefech. That's the way we try to explain it, that there's no Chi of Misa Mutal Rakafta Gavra on the person. Rather, the Torah just gave Rishus Lekanaim Lahargo. But we know that that can't be, because the Rambam writes Mefurish Lehefech in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, in Leisis Nun Beis, in the lab of Leisis Chatein Bam. The Rambam explains that the onesh of one who's over in this lab of Leisis Chatein Bam of intermarrying is Mischalik. If it's B'Farasya, then it's Kanoim Pogim Bo. And when they're Pogea Bo, that's his onesh. And if Kanoim weren't Pogea Bo, he's Mechuyev Kares, and Mavur B'Divrei Kabbalah, like we saw the pasuk in the Navi. And if it's Be'edim B'Hasra, then he gets Malchus Midaraisa. So we see in the Rambam, like we saw an earlier shir from the Ramban, that Kanaim Pogimbo is an Onesh Akar Kafta de Gavra. Because the Rambam writes, what's the Onesh if somebody's over on this lav? And he says the Onesh is Kanaim Pogimbo. So how can you tell me that the reason we don't say Kim Lev Rabbi Minei is because it's an Onesh, it's not an Onesh Hamutal like Akafta de Gavra, it's not an Onesh on the person's head, but rather it's just a Rishus Lahargo, but it's not considered an Onesh, where the Rambam says it is an Onesh. That's something that we're going to have to deal with. If it is an Onesh, then how can there be Malchus? Now this Svar that Kanoim Pogimbo is an Onesh on the lav of Los Chatein Bam is a Chiddush of the Rambam. That because of Losas Chatin Bam, we saw earlier the Ramban doesn't say it's an Onesh on Losas Chatin Bam. That's just in the Rambam. The only question is that the Rambam puts it on Losas Chatin Bam, but we know that the lav of Losas Chatin Bam is only derech chasnus. It's only if they're married. We're against intermarriage. But the din of Kanoim Pogim is even biznus. And the chi of kares mefurish divrei Kabbalah is not only b'derech chitun, it's b'chol b'ol aramis. So pasha the milsa l'chora that these onshim aren't in the lav of mesuyam of Losas Chatin Bam, but rather on the etzem znus. It's also muchach like that from the Rambam himself, because the Rambam writes in the Surei Bia, Perikid Beis Halacha Hey, that a Bo Bas Ger Toshav has no din Kanoim Pogim, and the reason is because there's no begid of Znus Achar Bas El Nechar, and there's no Halicha Achar Avodah Zarah. That's the problem with going with a Goyish woman, following their gods. I saw a picture not so long ago of a famous person. I don't want to say his name, but everybody heard of him. He's a Jewish man, and he's married to a non-Jewish woman, and he was praying in some Buddhist temple or something. So why would a Jewish guy with such a beautiful heritage go to become an Ovid of a Zara, start bowing down to idols? And the answer is because of his wife. That's what she does. That's the Basel Necha, but if she's a Ger Toshav, not that problem. On the other hand, Pash the Milsa is that even Beger Toshav is lav Losas Chatin Bam. So on one hand, there's no din of Kanoim Pogim Bo. On the other hand, in Pashtus Divrei Rambam, it's mashma there is an issur of Losas Chatin Bam with the Ger Toshav. Somebody who doesn't actually convert, just accepts upon himself to keep the Sheva Mitzvahs, like the Minchas Chinuch writes in Tov Chav Zayin. So in the Sefer Panim Yafas of the Baal HaFlam Parshas Veschanan, he learns that in a Ger Toshav there is no such lav of Losas Chatin Bam. But that's a Davar Mechudesh Me'od, that's not Pashtus Divrei Rambam. So we see two things. We see that the lav is on the chitun, and the din of Kanoim Pogim Bo, and the chi of kares are on the begid of Achila HaKodesh. It says in the pasuk, Bogda Yehuda, Ki Chilel Yehuda's Kodesh Hashem, Ubaal Basel Nechar. So just the etzem being with a foreign woman is a begida. It's a being a traitor. It's being mechalas hakodesh. Ki chil Yehuda's Kodesh Hashem. Ubaal Basel Nechar, and there's a din of Kanoim Pogim Bo, and then there's a lav on the chitun. So why then does the Rambam say that the din of Kanoim Pogim Bo is a kiyum onesh and the lav of Losas Chatin? It should be on anything. Anytime a person is Baal Basel Nechar, there's an isser. Even if there's no chitun, even if it's a ger toshav, even if it's b'derech znus. So the answer is Mavur Midivrei Rambam is Sefer HaMitzvos, and the Rambam is Magdir, the lav of Losas Chatin Bam. The Rambam writes, his hiranu mihischatin b'koifrim. That's what in all the Targumim of the Rambam into Lashon HaKodesh, that's what it says. It's not the censor. So what's pshat his hiranu mihischatin b'koifrim? So from this would appear that the lav itself doesn't have a gather of other lavim of arayas because of the znus and the surei bia, but rather yisoid halav v'inyano is the chitun v'chibur la'koifrim. The fact that we're marrying kofrim, connecting to kofrim, like Pashtus Lashon HaPasuk. V'lo yischatein bam, ki yaser es bincha me'acharai, v'avdu Elohim acherim. And if so, that's the problem. The problem is the Elohim acherim. So even though lo plug rachmana, and the Torah asks even a ger toshav like Pashtos, not like that flaw, but shoirish halav v'inyano is misnif avodah zarah. And in this muchach from a number of places that in the Sefer HaMitzvos, in the Rimzei HaMitzvos, the Rambam talks about the essence of the lav, the mahus, and in the Sefer HaYad, he's magdir the maisa. So you're also the geder and the isser in Sefer HaMitzvos is shalosh chatin b'koifrim. and also in the Ramazim, Shol Ischatein, but the Geder HaIsser HaMasi is the Bia. Yisrael Shaboal Goya Mishar Umas Derech Ishus. So if you want to define philosophically what the Isser is, you go to the Sefer HaMitzvahs, it's the Chitun, it's connecting to them, which is going to bring you to their Avodah Zarah, Lo Aleinu. And then if you want to talk about the Maisa of the mitzvah, go to the Sefer Yad, and it's being Boal Goya Mishar Umas Derech Ishus. And this is Mefurish Behemshech Divrei Rambam in Isurei Bia. Avoin Zaf al Pishain Boy Mises Bezdin, Al Yihi Kal Beinecha, Eliyesh Boy Hefseid She'ein B'chol HaRayas Kamosa. She'aben Min HaErva Hu Beno L'chol Dover, U'Bichlal Yisrael Nechshav Av Pishu Mamzer, Ve'aben Min HaKusis Eino Beno Shenemar Ki Yasir Zbincha Me'acharei, Meiser Osam Lios Acharei Hashem, but there was a Gorim Lidavik Ba'akum, She'ivdilanu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mehem, V'lashuv Me'acharei Hashem V'limol Bo. So, what does the Rambam say? That the Yisod HaIsser is Losser Me'acharei Hashem, to go away from Hashem, to be Mo'ol B'Hashem. It's a sniff of Avodah Zarah. And therefore, Kanoim Pogim Bo constitutes an Onesh on this Lav. Because the Lav and the Onesh are both Mitzada Begida Ve'Ami'ila. So Ger Toshav, this isn't Shayich. Because a Ger Toshav, there's no problem of Avodah Zarah. Ger Toshav is not over Avodah Zarah. So Mitzad, the Isser HaMa'asi, the Torah wasn't Mechalek. It applies to Ger Toshav as well. But the Onesh of Kanoim Pogim Bo, we don't have by Ger Toshav. Why? Because Kanoim Pogim Bo is coming for the Yisod HaIsser. What's the Yisod HaIsser? The Yisod HaIsser is Begid and Me'ilah. And that applies to a Goisha woman. If a person's with an Erva, a guy is with his aunt, so then the kids are Mamzer. It's terrible, but he's still Jewish. But Minakusis, no. The kid's going to be a guy. How terrible is that? 70% intermarriage. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So, the Rambam is telling us that the din of Kanoim Pogim Bo, is an onesh for going away from Hashem, and that's the Isser of Losas Chatin Bom. It's one and the same. And therefore it applies to any Baal Aramis. There's always going to be a Begida B'Hashem. Not only Derech Chasnus. And it would appear that we can explain the makor of the Rambam for this Yisod, that the Rambam writes later, Palacha Yud, that a Goya that's Niv'eles Li Yisrael, Ne'areges, why? V'nei Shabal Yisrael Takol Al Yodea Kebehema, but there was a Mefurish B'Torah Shneimar Ein Heina, Hayu B'nei Yisrael B'dvar Bilam Chol Isha Yada Yadas Ish L'Mishkav Zachar Haragu. So what does the Rambam mean? The Rambam is stelling tzu between a woman, the guy that's Niv'elis, that's killed, to what it says about a behema, that also if a takala ba'al yada, if the behema is nearby al yidei adam, the behema also gets skila because basa ba takala al yada. So this woman also, she was a takala, so memela, she also is receives capital punishment. That's the Rambam's Chiddush. The Maggid Mishnah says he doesn't find a makor for this. The Rechon Fishel Perla writes in Chelek Onshin, Samaches, he says there's a makor in the Psik de Zutrasa, in Pinchos, that's Mavur Lahedjia. Like the Rambam writes, that it's because there's a takala here, through this Gaya. And in the Asagas Haramach, he asks, it's not considered a takala unless the ball is mischayev misa ba'isa avon, like a rovea, but here there's no chi of misa b'dei adam. And his Talmud answered there in a note that ball aramis there is a chi of misa Kanoim Pogim, therefore it's considered a takala, and that's matim with Shitas HaRambam. That Kanoim Pogim is like misa, it's a chi of misa, like the Ramban. The Rambam brings a makor from the pasuk by Milchemes Midyan that they were commanded la'arog hanoshim b'nei shehayu takala b'dvar bilam, and therefore the women who were takala, they were also killed. People ask, why didn't he bring a raya from Pinchas haragam es ha'isha? He also killed the woman. So one answer given is that she's also included in the din of Kanoim Pogim Bo, because it was before Hesim b'shas Maisa. But here that it wasn't before Hesim b'shas Maisa, so the women who were Machshel Klal Yisrael got it afterwards. And the Rambam says, why did they get it? Why were they killed? What did they do wrong? The answer is they were a takala. So the Ramach asked, what's the raya? There it says, Hein Hein L'bnei Yisrael b'dvar bilam lim al mal b'Hashem al dvar por. In other words, what's the problem here? The Avodah Zarah. They were getting it out to the Avodah Zarah, now it's the Arayas. What's the mal? It says in the Gemara in Me'ila Yudches Ein Mila L'Shinui. V'omer vayimalu belokei avosayim vayiznu acharei Elohei Amei Haaretz. The problem is the Avodah Zarah. So the answer is when the Rambam learns that what's the Mal B'Hashem? The Mal B'Hashem is the Chet of Baal Aramis. Because the Chet of Baal Aramis is Midin Avodah Zarah. It's Mishum L'Sad Avodah Zarah. Coming close to Avodah Zarah, you're marrying Avodah Zarah. Like it says in the Gemara, Kol HaBaal HaGoya Kilu Mischatim B'Avodas Kochavim. It's a Baal Bas El Nechar v'chibash yesh lo le'el Nechar elazeh Baal HaGoya. How does an El Nechar, how does a foreign god have a child, have a daughter? And the answer is, this is somebody who's Baal HaGoya. That's Baal Bas El Nechar. She's the daughter of a foreign god. So the Rambam is learning that that's that this Mal B'Hashem is the Avodah Zarah of being with a Goyisha woman. That's also a din in Avodah Zarah. So it's also Meduyik in the Lashon of the Rambam. Rambam says v'davar zegarim lidavik ba'akum lashav me'achorei Hashem v'limol bo. Also mashma like that in Rashi. On this pasuk of Limsor Mal B'Hashem, what's this Mal? He says Chet of Baal Aramis. So we have a makor of the Rambam that the Yisod of Isser Baal Aramis is Snif Me'Isser Avodah Zarah. That's how we learned from the Psukim. And the pasuk in Malachi also, where you learn Onish Kares, there it also says the Chet of Bediga v'Chil HaKodesh Hashem. There Chil HaKodesh is the Me'ilah of Parshas Matos. Bagda Yehuda v'Toiv Vanesta v'Yisrael v'Yushalayim ki Chil Yehuda Kodesh Hashem asher oiv u'Baal Bas El Nechar Yachretz Hashem L'Isher Yaseh. So you see again that this is this inyan of Chil HaKodesh. That's the Me'ilah that's going after the Goyisha woman, which is really going after the Goyisha God. So now, again, we get back to our original kasha. Our original kasha was, how does the Rambam write that a Baal Aramis Loke? The Shitasa, there's a Chiyuv Misa, there's a Kiyum Onesh, and this lav of being with a Goyisha woman. So how do you get Misa and Malchus? Kim Lebi Rabbi Mine. That's our kasha. So Mirz Hashem Yitein et hakoach v'et hamoach. I hope that in the next year we will answer this question, and Hashem should give us life and health. And we should be zocheh lilmod u'lamed lishma v'las l'kaimis kol divrei salmut torah v'hava. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.